Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we have this 2023 BMW X3 and we're going to do the tail light tint installation for this vehicle. So as you can see, this is how the tail light looks before doing the installation, and this is how it looks after the installation. So the tint has PPF properties, which means it will protect the lenses from yellowing over time, as well as protect it from any small scratches or any road debris that may hit the lens. Link for the product will be provided below. But with that being said, let's get started with the installation video. These are the tools you need for the installation. So before we start with the installation for the tail light, we need to make sure we prep the lens. So just apply slip solution to the tail light, and with a clean microfiber towel, remove any contaminants that the lens may have. So we're going to start by applying tack solution for this section of the lens. So apply tack solution on the lens and on the adhesive side of the film. That way we're able to align it and just tack it down as soon as possible. So tack it down, align it here. Make sure it stays aligned on the top, the bottom, and it should fall into place on this end here. Just help it tack down a little bit. If you need to lift the film, you can. Just lift it carefully and realign it. It should cover up to here. Once everything's tacked down, apply tack solution on the surface of the tint. Grab your squeegee and start tacking everything down. Make sure to remove all the solution that's underneath the film, and also help remove any fingers that you may encounter. And then to seal it off, just apply a little bit of heat around the edges and we should be good. Okay, finish it off with heat to seal everything and also to help remove any small fingers, and then we'll move on to the next piece. For the piece that covers this section of the lens, you could do it dry method, or if you want to use any type of solution, you could just use tack solution. But just make sure, if you do the dry method, you place it on one end and you make sure you go section by section, helping remove any air bubbles that may be behind the film. And just follow through until you reach it here. Make sure to remove any bubbles and then apply heat just to help it seal. Now we'll move on to the piece that covers this section of the tail light. So with this one, we could do the dry method as well, or we can just use tack solution to help tack it down and align it to the outer section of the tail light. So we're going to apply tack solution. Just make sure to place the film and follow the design of the front section of the panel. So just help it align, follow the design until you reach it here. It should fall right on the edge here. Help it tack down. Keep it aligned, flat here, lift it to adjust it, and it should reach here. If you need to readjust it, you can. Just make sure everything stays aligned. Once you finish placing the film, apply tack solution on top, grab your squeegee, and start tagging down the film. And when you're doing this, just make sure you help remove any solution that's trapped underneath the film. That way we don't have any bubbles after the installation. And if you have fingers like this one here, all we need to do is apply a little bit of heat, help it tack down on the curve, and we should be good. So apply heat. You can use the low setting for this part. Apply heat around the areas where you see those fingers and where you see the film lifting. Help it tack down after you apply heat. And that's pretty much it. Once you finish sealing this whole section, now we can move on with the piece that covers this side of the lens. So for this side of the tail light, we are going to need to apply slip solution. That way we're able to move the film around, adjust it to the edge that we need to align it to, and then do a light stretch to reach to the other end. Place the film first on this end, so this is why we need slip solution. That way we're able to move the film around. Align it to this edge and just make sure everything stays aligned here and on the top as well. Once you have it aligned, lift the film carefully and apply tack solution behind the film. Place it down, make sure it stays aligned, and then apply tack solution on top. Grab your squeegee and start tacking down this whole section here. Since we are going to need to stretch the film, we need at least this good amount of area tacked down already. That way the film doesn't move when we stretch. Okay, once we secured this section, all we need to do now is stretch the film, keep it aligned on top, and stretch it up till we reach to this edge. So do a light stretch, move it to here on top, and make sure it reaches to the curve here. And now hold it in position and start tightening it down to secure it. Okay, and now same process with this one. Stretch it a little bit down and then going this way and following the design here. So make sure this area is dry, that way you have better grip, placing your hand here and then stretching it. So lift the film carefully, apply slip solution, make sure this area is dry, and then stretch downward and then inside the tail light. And all I did was just help it guide it and secure it like this. Hold it in position, apply tack solution on top, and then carefully start tacking down the film. Okay, and now all the last thing to do before we move on to the next piece that covers this section here is to apply heat to remove the fingers that we have on top, this middle section, and also here. Apply heat and then we'll just help it tack down with our squeegee and microfiber towel. So before we move on to this piece, we have a piece that covers this section of the lens here. So with this one, all we have to do is just align it right on the edge and just help it tack down. And this one is just so this piece could get covered as well, since this section is being covered and it's right next to it. So align it right on the edge, make sure it stays aligned, hold the film, and then just place it, tack it down. Make sure you're not stretching it, you're only holding it with your hand, and it should reach up here. And if you need to lift it to remove some bubbles, you can just carefully lift it, and that's pretty much it. And now you would just apply heat, that way the adhesive on both of these films activate faster. And then once these two are done, we can move on to the next pieces. Okay, so for the next piece, it covers this lower section of the lens. So just align it to the edge, and you could do the dry method for this one as well. That's how we did it with these two. And just make sure you keep it aligned where the body line of this tail light goes. So it doesn't cover the top, it only covers this lower section here. So keep it aligned, make sure you help remove any bubbles, and just follow through until you reach it to the curved area here. And that's pretty much it, pretty simple. Tack it down and apply heat just to seal the edges, and then we'll move on to the next piece. So for the piece that covers this section here, just apply tack solution to the lens and tack solution to the adhesive side of the film. Align it on the top corner here, and make sure you just follow through with the rest until you reach it here. And now just apply tack solution on top. Grab your squeegee, start tacking on the film. Remove all of the solution underneath the film. That way we don't have bubbles. And that's pretty much it. Make sure to apply heat once you're done, that way we seal the film around the edges. For this piece, you could do it the dry method, like how we did it with the other ones. Just make sure to keep it aligned on the edge, lift it carefully, and just follow through until you reach it to the other end. Make sure to remove any air bubbles, and then you could apply tack solution on top, that way we could use your squeegee to just help it tack down on the areas where it's still lifting. And that's pretty much it. And now we'll move on to this piece. So for the last piece, we could use tack solution just to make it easier to align it and tack it down. So with this one, once you spray tack solution, align it right on the top edge. Once you have it aligned, just follow through with the rest of the design on the top area, and then everything else should just fall into place. Apply tack solution on top, that way we're able to use our squeegee and start securing the film. So tack it down on top, remove all of the air that may be trapped underneath the film, and then tack it down on the bottom. And then once we're done removing all of the solution underneath the film, the last thing to do is to post heat the entire tint, that way we help the adhesive on the film activate faster. So the last thing to do once you finish with the installation on the tail light is to post heat the entire tint. So all we need to do is apply tack solution to the lens, and we're going to use our heat gun and apply heat evenly throughout the entire film. You could use the highest setting for this part, but if you do use the highest setting, just make sure not to be too close to the film where you might accidentally burn it. And as we're applying heat, we're going to use our microfiber towel just to help tack down the edges that are lifting and also help us remove any solution that's still trapped around the edges. So take your time when you're doing this step, and then once you're done with the installation. So that concludes the installation video for the Taillight tints for the 2023 BMW X3. We hope that the video helped you guys out with the installation. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification bell. That way you don't miss any of our upcoming installation videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.